Hi, it's Amanda. Welcome to, it's supposed to be today's journal, but I got sidetracked and I thought to myself, I'll just take you on this journey and show you how it sometimes is. Now, the word for today for the art journal is spirited, and I talk about on the podcast I talk about how as kids there were kids who were described as spirited, and in my remembering, the kids who were called spirited were the ones that just did as they pleased and always got in trouble. And you know, you would hear being spirited wasn't necessarily a positive, used in a positive light. And this morning, so I was going to work on the journal, and I've got these bits hanging around. I think I showed you them when I made this journal, and I just thought I need to get what was in my head out, but I thought I'd take you on the journey. Yeah. So this is the art journal we're working in, and I will touch on that, but I wanted to do this first, and I wanted to show you how sometimes you just have to go with it. And that's when I'm thinking about this word spirited, it's like, you know, not to be confined to how people say or think you should be. You know, people, no matter what age, they have an opinion. So I'd had an opinion of how you should behave or act. So I had these cards that I was going to make some small mini journals. I'm just seeing if I've got an example of. I had an example of one. You can see how these videos are not, they're not scripted. But okay, let me just give you a rough example. So I'd made like mini cards like this, and I was going to put a few together, and this was going to be the not cards, sorry, mini journals. And I'm always making journals, and so for these ones, these were going to be the cover, but I never did anything with them, and they're sitting there and they were bugging me, and I was going to try and use them in this journal, but it's not working. It's just like they're not for that, and I wanted to just leave them, but it was just like, okay, just deal with it now. So I'm going to do again another mini journal, and I know this is not what I'm supposed to be doing today, but I just wanted to show you how quick and easy it is. And you would have seen on, okay, so you would have seen on the first journal I made. So, ooh, I've got this. This is, you see how things work out? This is supposed to be sticky fabric, and again, I've had it for a while, and it's lost its stickiness. It still is a little bit sticky, but I'm going to use this as a cover. Oh, will it fit? I don't think it will fit, you know. Doesn't matter. It's just going to be the first part of it. Okay, so all I've done is fold them over. I'm going to make one signature, and I'm going to use glue stick to glue down the edge, and I think that will satisfy this urge to just get them out of the way. And one of the things that I've been feeling over the past few weeks is that, you know how you can get stuck in, I'm just waiting for the glue gun to heat up. Helps if you turn it on. So I've got an extra glue stick here. Funnily enough, I went to the shop that sells the glue sticks, and I said to the guy, they normally sell loose glue sticks, and it works out a lot cheaper than buying the packet. And I said to the guy, when are you going to get some more in? And his response is, soon, not next week. We're expecting a delivery. It's like, how do you guys work like this? You know, it's like, soon? Anyway, so I find the glue stick really quick and easy. So, as I say, I'm not sure how this will take paint. I'll probably have to gesso it, as with fabric. It'll be like a canvas, and I'll gesso it. And the cards were cards I'd picked up from the stationers. So, along with those bits of paper, I've got other bits of paper here. Tissue paper. It's really pretty. I'm going to use it in the art journal. And then these are taken from, you know, the freebies you get. The magazines. I used to always buy loads of magazines, and so the craft magazines would always come every week with a whole load of free paper. Oh, wait there a minute. Let me just show you. I've been again so totally off point, but you're coming along for the ride, eh? So this is my collection of, you know, paper that you get free from the magazines. So many different types, and you know, look at this book. Ooh, I'd forgotten I'd had this. Oh my gosh, Botanical Garden, designer patterns. Oh no, they are designer patterns. And then, yeah, just, I used to use this a lot in collage. And do you know what I'm going to do? Yeah. So that's going to be one of the first things I do in the book. After I've got this out of the way, I'm going to do some collage in here with these papers and just utilise them. And what I'm going to do is get some of the papers you've just seen, because I totally forgot I'd had them. And again, they just sit there for years if you're not careful. And they start getting, well, some of the papers, like some of my blank papers have got like yellows. I don't know what the dog's just got. I've just got something, picked up something. Anyway, so all I do with this is I make sure it's flat on this end, get my glue gun, and it should, yeah, it is warm now, and I just add the glue down the edge. I'm generous with it, and I'm just going to put this on the page, the fabric, and I take it either side, I rock it, because invariably you always get some of the glue that comes, that squeezes down the edge. And as we've seen, yes, it is too short, but that doesn't matter. What I'm going to do then is use the glue gun and attach it to the page, that side, and then do the same on this side. It's slightly sticky, but it would never, it wouldn't last long enough. So I'm just taking the and I always use a bone folder because it can get quite hot. And there you have it. I let it dry, otherwise the bits will come apart. And there you have it. That's just taken. I'm so glad I did. I'm glad I did it, because it's just like just getting it out of the way. So all we're going to do today is fan the mosquito out of the way. And you can also use this for other things, you know, like under a surface, because it's all this bit's shiny on one side, where the fabric was, and I'm guess some people are saying, oh, why don't you finish it? Are you saying, why don't you finish it? We're going to finish this one quickly. And yeah, I guess this is a good example of the word. For me, it's about being spontaneous sometimes. I know that, you know, okay, I'm creating a video for you guys, and you've, you know, when I say it like this, it makes it sound very kind of officious. Creating a video so that you can work in your art journal. And oh, you know what's happened? Right, you know what's happened is, I'm just looking down the middle. So the book itself is stuck, but the glue has not, it's not sticking to the paper itself. I'll just see if that works there, or whether it's, hold on, I'll just use a palette knife. This palette knife has had so many different uses. Yeah, so there's a thing that I found out, that the glue gun we'll see. It doesn't stick. Yeah, look, it's peeling off. Actually, it's because of the, it doesn't stick to this. It's got sticky, it's like a smooth surface, so it's not going to stick very well. But what this has done now, as you can see, it's given us our mini book with glue over it. But worry not that you are worried. I'm not worried. It's just like you're experimenting and playing. Okay, so we're not going to get into this, but I'm glad that I stuck it down. I'm glad you were with me to stick it down, because then a way around this is, okay, thinking on your feet, what could you do with it? A way around this is utilising this and using it as a raised and textured surface, and I could paint this white with gesso, and then you've got the paint that goes into on the page and not on the glued bit, which could just be a pattern of the book. So you could paint it a dark colour and you'd still get some of the pattern of the paper. I'll probably, or what I will do is, again, because the book isn't like, you know, obviously it's just, it's not really a book. You can't really describe this as a book. So I'm going to finish it, but I'll finish it in another video and then you can see. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for now. Sorry I raised your hopes, but I think it's important to follow your impulse and see where it's taking you. And I guess I felt that I wanted to do this, and that I wanted to just, you know, do something quick and simple. But the reality is it's not necessarily always as simple as we think it's going to be, and we need to take the time to work through it. So if I want a mini art journal like this, which is a nice size to put in your bag, spend some time on it, and also spend some time on yourself. So that is an example of that. So I'm going to put that to the side, and it won't be long before I finish it. So let's get on with the journal to hand. Okay, so when I'd totally forgotten I had this book full of papers. Well, this book full of papers, and I must have taken these out. And yeah, it's a whole selection of papers. The ones I like working on are I got these. It's the Oriental Garden, and then I had this one which. Oh no, it's this one. Indian Summer Collection, and I just went through it, and it was literally, you know, I brought the magazine and I've used it over time in art journals, and then it's got some tags at the end. And some of the magazines that I would have brought had you know, they've got templates and what else, patterns in them. And yeah, so what I'm going to be doing, so I don't feel like, because it was just like I've got all these loose papers, so the reality is they can go back in here, and I'm going to be using some of this paper here in my art journal. It's bringing back memories of some of the initial art journals that I made. So magazines including, I don't know whether they do them anymore, Craftsy. I used to get it every week. I mean, this has got, what has this got in it? Yeah, it just got little ideas, and as you can see, it always comes with some sort of handmade paper and templates for you to create something to, you know, if you want to make cards, if you're doing, you know, quick makes, as you can see. And some of the templates at the back. Which I never made, really. That bit wasn't me. I didn't mind, you know, I liked the papers. So I'm going to put, right, okay. So this is where they belong, these papers. So these are the papers from, what magazine is this? It doesn't really matter, does it? It's probably Craftsy, but there's a whole series of teacups, and I was looking at that. I don't really like those kind of teacups anymore. I did at the time because I was making cards, but I'm looking at the other sides of the paper, the stripes and the patterns, and I think I'll probably utilise those. I was really into the you know, I'd made like a series of cards. Anyway, so that's what I feel like doing next, and as I said, I'm going to keep this quite short. So I want to show you how, again, you can apply, take that out and I'll take this out, how you can apply very quickly to a page, and show you what I've done in here so far. So when you have loads of things on your desk and a hot glue gun, it doesn't make for safety. So I've got my palette knife, I've got my card palette knife I'd cleaned off, and I've got some glue in here. So for those of you who would have joined me and seen the making of the book, and I left it that, you know, carry on working in it and see what you wanna, how you wanna move it forward. And what I did was I used some of the, in the first page, again, like the paper I've got here that has got paint on it, I used it in the front and at the back, and that all that did was to cover up the folds in the back and the front. So I'll be utilising that. So for today, I just want to collage a few of the pages. And there was one. Was there one in particular? Yeah, I think it was these ones. So at the back of my book, the pages, whilst it's thicker paper, there's just two sheets together, and I want to make it slightly thicker so that when I come to add paint in, it's okay. And this is some of my it's my bank statement. So I'm gonna prepare some of the papers. So what I would normally do is just, so I've got this book, as you can see, and I've been tearing out. Oh, I love that pattern. I like this pattern. So I'll be using both sides and maybe that. And I'm just going to add it to the book. And maybe that, this side. Okay, so I'm not sure how many pages that will take alongside some of the ones that I've got already, but this is how I do it. And so, yeah, I don't want to use all of that. Not feeling cupcakes. Okay, so let us go ahead. So all I would do is say take a page like this, use the card to get glue on the page. And again, remember, this is, you know, obviously if you want to do something specifically to do with the word spirited, you can, but I just felt like wanting to, I haven't done this for a long time, and that's what I was feeling, and this is what, you know, the journaling and working in your art journal is all about. It's doing the things that you feel like doing, yeah, and not feeling that, oh, it has to look a particular way, it has to be done in a particular way. It doesn't. It's your space, yeah. See some of this down here. So all I'm doing is applying glue to the page using this old top-up card, and I'm then also layering it over the paper as well. So by the time you finish, it will be well glued. And there's no way it should come up. Now I'm going to use a brush for some of it as well. I've got my little brush here. Just going to add some for these the edges. And then I can always go over it with the card, but it's just to add a little bit of the glue to the edges that are exposed, and when I'm ready, so I might do that there. Nothing fancy. And then, does it look awkward? It feels like, why are you doing it like that? But it's not awkward. Like just the way I'm holding it, it's just again, because I haven't done it for such a long time, it's okay. So there's a first page. Spirited. I want to add, actually, I'll add this. Because you're coating the whole page, there, lovely jubbly. So there's a page that's done, and all the way that I would come back to this is the the way that I would come back to this is add gesso to the page and then work on it, or add some, you know, more colour and then just work on it. So Spirited today means that you work on the page in adding collage and just being free with your supplies. This is tissue paper. It's still sticky, so this in the magazine it came with, they covered a piece of wood with it, like a wooden shape. I think it was a butterfly or something. But I think I've still got the butterfly sitting there somewhere. So the card also helps with any air bubbles that might be there on the paper. So I quite like that, and I'm going to leave that to dry. And surprise, surprise for you, where's that little book? Where did I put it? Here. Spirited, yeah? We're gonna do a little bit more on this. So, so I'm just gonna be gluing any bits that do not have glue. And brush. Do you know what? Sometimes I hate seeing people use really thin brushes. But actually it's quite therapeutic because, you know, it takes a bit longer and you've got more time, you're thinking as you go along. But and I know that some of you would never do it like this, but hey, we're just playing, yeah? Right. So in the middle now, I'm going to use some of this paper that hasn't been used. And they're still gonna, it's still gonna have gesso on it when I finished. Yeah, but I just thought maybe what would be good is if I just do some of the pages, prep some of the pages there. Sometimes you just need to glue stuff, you know. It's like, sometimes you do. So these, you might be wondering, how comes they just seem to fit? They'd all been cut for the same thing, as I'd mentioned before. They were all cut. And you know what I should have done was to glue this over, glue that over there, and then it becomes a finished piece there. So yeah, sometimes I do work like this. I do have my moments where I'm very organised, but then again, this is all part of the creative play, so sometimes you need to just go for it. Go for it, girl. Doesn't matter about that. I could have just cut that off, but if I leaving it and gluing it means that it means that you get a stronger card to work with. The ends become stronger, especially if you're like, you know, going to be using paint, and then you're going to be, you know, utilising the book, you know, creating, drawing in it. So it's coming together. Everything doesn't have to be all stiff and precise and exact. And for me, that's what working in these things then show me, because I've always, you have these ideas of how art should be. And this is all about creativity. So it's like, oh, it's got to look like this, or you can't call yourself an artist because of this. And it's just like, I paint, I sculpt, and I play with paper. Yeah, and I don't mind sharing it. Because some people, it's almost like they need permission to play. And I always try and find moments to play, because it's all part of your growth and your development. Your growth and development as an artist. Some may disagree. Some may say, I don't need to do that. I don't do that. But this is one of the ways in which I just, you know, unwind, I guess, for me. So this is the arts in health aspect, where just these simple actions have such a therapeutic effect. You would be surprised at how, you know, how important it is just to not always be, like, I'm always focused online, I'm always focused on the art, sharing the art, promoting the art. And for me, I need, like, it's like you need a little bit of an escape, and this is, because I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't have to look in any particular way. I'm not having to create a piece to a certain specification. So, you know, if you're using clay, or you're using, I'm combining the fabric, I'm always, you know, the thought processes of, you know, although, I was going to say the thought processes is to think about, you know, well, what's next. And although what I do is I create spontaneously, in the sense that I don't start out with, this is what, I don't start out with the end in mind for my art pieces. I usually I start out with a vague idea that I want to create a sculpture. I don't know what the sculpture is going to look like, because I then don't, like, you know, on paper say this is how it's going to be. And I allow it to evolve. Okay, so we've got this one bit hanging off here, which I'm going to cut there and stick it here. Perfect. So we have a little mishmash book. So I call it my mishmash book. And yeah, it's full of, I've recycled the paper rather than throw them away. and there's a couple of pages that doesn't have. So let me see if there's any loose. Look, here's a loose piece. I can utilise that. And so everything gets used, and then it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have any papers around that. Again, this was a letter, and I just used it as a background. Something, something. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? First is fold this bit over. Don't know why I'm looking at it and thinking, why are you leaving it? Okay, I think you needed the glue gun. I think that's why I use a glue gun as well, because it's like it just sticks and you don't have to be holding it down or anything like that. This paper's a lot thicker, so that's why it's creating those issues. Well, there's no issue really. It's just thicker, so it takes more paint. What I could have done was spritz it first, and then it would have been easier. So, impatience, girl. Once I get this bit on, it will be held down, and so it will stay. Alrighty, so start there. Goes all the way down there. I'm going to take some of this paper that I've got and just add it at the bottom here. And get it at the edge there as well. So sometimes when I don't really want to add those strips. I don't know why I tore it like that. I just need it there. Sometimes when I add these papers, you could see it like this today, but then once I've finished with it, you just see hints of the underlying paper. Just to get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I will do a different video for this, but I'm glad I did it, even though it didn't infringe on, you know, my other. But it's about the word spirited and being able to, okay, say to yourself, right, I'm going to do this now, and just follow it through. You know, this is the page that I've done. I do allow everything to dry naturally. I could potentially work on, because it's not totally touching, I could maybe work on this page, but I won't. I'm going to leave it there. So that's for the word spirited. As I said, these videos are not necessarily me coming and doing a lovely picture, but it's about giving you some hints and tips to work in your journal, to just start to do something and take it forward for the rest of the week. So come and join me on the podcast for next week's word, and yeah, look forward to having you join me. And I wanted that pause so that you could really take in the moment. Alright, take care for now.